Well, on Kelsey Road, barns got blowed down and that took out electricity from what I heard. I don't know any way to confirm that part. And the one over, and that was Amon's farm. And then Amon's farm over on 96, out in front of there, that pole got creamed and that car got tangled up in the wires
I
like
don't
a
know what
yo-yo.
was going on. Yesterday
Yeah.
morning I got up and I think I was only up half an hour when I heard popping going on.
Oh yeah, I think a transformer went out on that
Yeah, a
one.
transformer went out on Cronk Road, just up the road from my driveway.
And it's funny because people
So it
don't,
was smoking and sparking.
like, see, I live in Wilsonville and we're off a different substation, I think. So if the electricity goes out at like the Dandy or at your house, it half time goes out at mine. And actually, mine
Well, yeah, there's,
very rarely goes out. Last night it was out, but only for a couple hours.
you can't get over what you have to go through to get through to NICEAG to tell them, not just to
I wanted to make sure
report.
the camera was.
You know, not the automated report, but to let them know.
With the power
The thing
going out,
is
last time they
sparking and
dropped
popping.
Yeah,
You might
that's,
wanna get out here, you know?
that you call 911 for.
So
And
I
they call
called, they got out there within the hour, they had
Yeah.
a
I just
a
don't
bunch, you know,
understand
one
why.
of the mufflers and stuff, and I don't know what they did.
I mean, maybe I'm an impatient human, but I don't understand why what happened on 96 is gonna take till like tomorrow or Friday or Thursday. I don't understand how hard it is to
Trucks all
single
over the
pole
place when I
and
was
untangle
working.
some lines. But you know, I especially for them, because they should be good at it, because they think they would.
Well, I guess it was authentic, there was a posting on Facebook of a car that was
Yeah,
tangled up in
that's the
wires
one.
upside down.
Yeah, what I think what happened is the pole went over, she drove in not seeing the wires, and just got, that's my opinion about what happened. At first, people were saying she hit the pole,
Whoever
but she
took
didn't.
pictures and posted it said she wasn't hurt.
That's her mom, yeah, her mom
Yeah,
posted that.
that's great. I
But-
just-
That's the same thing we need to
But
report.
to be, but like I said, I don't understand what takes so long to sink a pole and
At the shelter
maybe
inspection
I'm
report.
Right, and you actually turn that into
simplistic,
her,
I don't know.
that's just so you can
But-
go through it, that's straight.
Well, if they have to put it in a pole, I don't even know the ground is kind of
Squishy, to be easy.
squishy on top, but not down farther.
Oh, they got equipment for that.
So,
Those big,
yeah, I know.
corkscrew things. I don't know, maybe I'll be, but lucky, I mean, I feel bad for the people, because people, I mean, it's wintertime, your furnace runs off electricity, a lot of people. And there's a lot of worried about that, where do the people go? Is anybody doing anything? I don't know.
The Methodist Church had their doors open this morning, 8
Yeah,
o'clock,
8
to
o'clock,
let
coffee.
people come in, coffee and donuts and warm up.
I would
Put
be,
that out, I saw that.
I don't know how cold it would have to get if your furnace went on for something bad to happen in the house. That would worry me more than anything else. I mean, I would go live in the van for a couple of days or something if I had to. But.
Well, just what I normally got hurt, it didn't seem like.
Yeah, I think luckily it doesn't seem like anybody got hurt around here. My one recycling bin got picked up and rolled down the bank by my house, and I'm like, oh, that's real nice. I picked up some of the stuff, and I'm like, when it's warmer and it's not so much, I'll pick up the rest, but now not so much. But I picked it up and just, like Dorothy's house, the Wizard of Oz. I didn't know it was gonna be windy, or I wouldn't have put it out there like that, but it's funny, when I saw it over there, I was like, well, someone steal my recycling bin, that's pretty stupid. I mean, I know.
It's not one of Taylor's.
No, I went to RPM because the camera's not on yet, right? Taylor was too much involved in planning this whole recycling, garbage collecting fiasco there now. It was subject to be yanked around in, and I think they're too expensive too, so I just report them.
Make a motion to approve that.
Well, he's the one we're still paying, my taxes didn't go down, but the county didn't want to deal with
Open
it.
that road.
Well, your taxes didn't go down because of the ambulance.
I think
I'm
we
not talking
did.
about
I
that,
thought we
I'm talking
did.
about
I thought we
county
did too.
taxes.
Well, if not, we will do that.
Right.
And then when they decided not to do another
Pretty sure we did it.
contract,
Well,
my
Taylor
taxes didn't go down until for that.
wanted too much probably, I don't know. But what bothered me most about it, and I read this online, you can take your recyclables and drive them up to the transfer station in Broome County off of Stella Ireland Road. But you can't down in Rigo supposedly because your DEP said you can't. Well, why didn't Taylor fix it so we could do that instead of having to sign up with somebody to take our stuff? You see what I'm saying? It's just too.
Yeah, no,
It's like the last part of the head. And the one guy that was doing garbage, he went out of business.
This
He
is the
sold
actual law
something
that says,
when he, to Taylor,
this
to
is
the
what,
agreement that he was
there's
gonna
the
go do
books right there,
something.
but this is
So
what's in
like I said,
267.
they thought they were gonna
Powers.
get the whole
But did you want to?
county, I mean, they thought they were gonna get the whole deal right high on the hot.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of says it in here, but just to be,
I'm helping the little guy, you know,
Clear it
but I
up.
mean, it's like.
I think they should only make decisions
I can't have this thing.
according to, for zoning and land use regulations.
Right.
And
And
there you
not
go.
code enforcement stuff needs to go.
No, don't touch that, but I think you get.
Because you don't want to.
I mean, local and state laws, that's crazy.
Right.
There's a lot of other avenues
And,
for people to appeal decisions of code.
I wouldn't even take my garbage down there, but I have to.
It goes.
Okay, we can get started. We'll do a prayer and a pledge. Lord, be with us today as we conduct the town business. Guide us in the best that you can. And be with the residents of the Candor and the whole United States as the power outages and stuff like that. We ask you in this name, Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Start off with privilege of the floor. Geez, nobody's got anything? That's great. We'll move on to the minutes. February's meeting.
The only thing that I wasn't sure of is I thought that we did make a motion to approve the opening of Elmer Hill Road at the very top. That I don't see it on here. We didn't make a motion? Okay. Okay, well,
We'll adjust that
we'll
today.
do that today, because I thought we agreed to, we just probably never got around to doing it.
We might have got off on a different subject.
That'd be unusual.
Yeah. Pretty sure we talked about it.
Yeah. Is there anything you wanted to add, Nancy?
Well, just the second page, M18, so RADER instead of AR, just a minor,
Just a typo spelling.
yeah. You see it there? Thank you.
I move we approve the minutes with the changes, or the change.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay. Vouchers have been signed by the board. The general fund, we're spending $58,113.18. And then the highway fund, we're spending $87,529.87. We got no discussion, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve the vouchers.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers.
Second.
Roll call.
Douglas,
Aye.
Stroza,
Aye.
Rixey,
Aye.
Raider,
Aye.
There was no budget transfers. I have received the town clerk's report. And nothing else. We'll move on to the assessors. And Patty's not here. And,
I have no report with it.
okay. We'll move on to building and grounds.
I did contact somebody about LED signs, and it was just one person, and they're actually out of Texas. I said I didn't want anything worked up. I just want to get an idea of a quote. And I told him like a 3x6 sign, and be able to program it remotely, wirelessly. And they came back with a price of around $16,000.
Wow.
So I don't know. I think we ought to just put it out to bid and see what we get. We'll just have to come up with some specifications though.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's kind of
long
why I did it, so I could get some specifications to create it. And then I did start writing. Rob, could you send me some? I thought you were going to send me something for an RFP.
I was looking at the agenda.
Yeah, an RFP for the roof.
Yeah.
Because I went online and I tried doing one, but they're all trying to sell you something, they make it really
I've got a
complicated.
template we can use.
Okay.
We can pretty much gut a lot of the stuff. but-
Okay, and we could use that for an LED sign as well then?
Yeah.
Simpler.
Yeah, you can use one for the roof and then one for the sign.
Okay, if you could just email that to me and then I don't know, I think the only other thing is maybe new signs for the planning board and
Yeah, got busy this week.
the
but I was
Board of
gonna-
Appeals as well, so,
I was
so
gonna
they look-
call, Specialty Trophies and Dryden to order them,
yeah.
and I didn't do that yet.
Yeah.
So maybe tomorrow, I'll get the names down and I'll send them a message and they'll get them made up for me.
There you
Oh,
go.
cool. So you're gonna make signs for the planning board?
Yeah, and the Board of Appeals.
I don't care about that. No, I don't have to, they asked me if I would make them new signs and I said, sure. I was gonna come in and do that. So now I don't have to. Cool.
No, I'm gonna get those
No, they're-
plates. They just slide them out,
Yep.
put their names in.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's more professional and
So I got a question about the sign. I was sitting here cooking about it. Are you thinking of doing one kind of like what the firehouse has or something more simplistic or?
we just need something simple, just so we can post things. We'll probably maybe pour a concrete pad for it to sit on and nothing real fancy, maybe. I'd like to clear gravel out around it and,
I was just curious, because if you're gonna do something like them, then maybe you can find out where they got theirs. 'Cause
Yeah.
it seems to be working.
yeah,
There's also the one in Danby at the town hall.
yeah, there's a bunch of them out there. I went out online and I looked at a whole bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
And they're all over the board on far as what they are and what they're made up out of, so.
Yeah.
And they're anywhere from, I don't know, 15 to 20 years life expectancy, depending on what you pay.
Wow.
So, yeah, no
I'm just
thanks.
curious.
No, yeah. I don't think I want anything out of wood or anything. More permanent.
It's made out of cedar.
Yeah. That's all I have.
I have a question, and also maybe, see if we can't get those front doors handicap accessible. And what it would cost to do that. The other day I had somebody come in with
Wheelchair.
and then they had one where their leg was up and they had that little scooter. So fortunately for her, I was here to hold the door for her so she could get in, but it would just be so much more handicap accessible if
We
we
just
did
talked
that.
about the thing on the wall that they hit.
Yeah, they would hit that thing on the wall, door would open up, and
Automatic doors.
yeah.
They're not cheap. Rob might know some of that.
Yeah, it's an expensive
It's very expensive.
project.
Well, we got some of that relief fund money that we could use.
Got to save that for bridges too.
Yeah. Yeah, typically it's the electrician that does it.
You could probably get a
And that's,
grant or
and you're
something
talking
for
all new
that.
doors too. These got to come out.
Yeah, I'm not,
Maybe they can retrofit. I
You
don't
think?
know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can look into it. I should. I just know that where my wife works, they just put them in their door because somebody drove into it with a car. So they ended up having to put a new ones in. They made them handicap accessible.
Is there not a legal requirement? This,
We're
Town.
we're ADA compliant when this building was built. We were,
so it goes back to when it was. built.
yeah,
Is that-
yeah.
21
And
years
it
ago.
goes by the occupancy, how large your occupancy
Yeah.
is. So,
Well, that's a project we'll work on.
okay.
Okay. Justice. I don't believe there's anything going on with them.
Not that I know.
I know they've been holding off on, their audit. And the reason that they're behind on the audit because a judge from North Valley was doing a case and he hadn't finalized with it. And I think they just finalized with it this last week, if I recall. So they should be getting their audits taken care of.
Code enforcement. Skip the code enforcement.
Did I skip the code guy? I went right from boat to justice. Okay, let's skip back up to the code enforcement.
Our new code officer is doing really well. I don't know, this is starting to get busy. People are starting to inquire about building permits and stuff, so the busy season will be coming soon.
He's been out driving around doing some inspections.
Inspections, yeah, he's gonna go out tomorrow and do some more.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be starting his training soon. He has 18 months to get his certification.
He'll be all right.
Oh, yeah. He's got a good construction background already.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I can skip right by the justice because we did that and move on to cemeteries. And as you know, I have a mowing sheet that back when George was here is how he had the cemeteries mowed. And last year, and I didn't get the exact amount, how many times, but last year was a well-growing season, so we had to do a lot of extra mows. And with that being said, I was thinking to myself, well, geez, maybe we ought to increase the amount of mows. Well, maybe we better not do that either because we may have a dry season and just go ahead and pay for the extra mows like we did last year and take our chances. So as you can see, there's how many times these cemeteries get mowed. 6 of them don't get mowed at all in June or July. So I think what we're going to do now is I talked to Carol and we're going to put an ad in the paper for mowing bits for the cemetery. And if everybody's fine with the mows that we're doing, if you want to stay with that, or if you think we should do more, that's up to you guys.
It's always a gamble, like you said. If it's gonna be a dry season, we'll make out. But if it's a wet season, we don't.
So if we have her put that in the paper and our meeting is on the 12th, so if they have their bids in by the 8th, now that'll be the bids for the cemetery and also a separate bid for the town hall.
And will there be a price amount for the extra mowings?
Yes, usually when they do the contract, they put in how much it'll be for each one.
Okay, should we put that in RFP form? Make sure that that's listed in there? Is that listed in there?
It was last. We have an old contract probably from last year that was listed.
I just want to make sure we don't miss it and we get it in there.
Yeah, I know that
Just a
they've
separate-
been, the past years, they've been putting it in the contract that what an extra mow would be. And we can put that on here also, if you would, Carol, down there at the bottom. Extra mows per cemetery if needed.
Yeah,
How
and
much?
additional cost for extra mows per mow.
And how'd they do the town hall? Did they do that once a week?
Once a week.
All
I'll see,
summer?
yeah,
All summer.
Yeah.
because of
And
the,
it needs it too.
Yeah,
and because of the farmer's market.
Right.
So.
okay.
Alrighty. Okay, well, that was pretty simple. We'll move on to
So we're gonna keep it as what we did last year.
Nobody seems to want to
Right,
suggest,
I think it's a
moving on.
good idea.
so we'll just, yeah, I do too after I just,
Yeah,
well, you get a call and that, and seems how you're on that, if I remember right. Yeah, and just call you and say, hey, does that cemetery need mowing?
Go look
Go
at
check
it.
it out. Just,
right.
that's what we'll do
We
then.
did last summer, so.
That's good.
Are you gonna start price and gas is going up?
Oh, I know it.
Yeah.
They're all gonna gamble themselves on putting a bid in too, you know?
Does say variable may be included for drastic change in gas price.
Yeah,
So do they put that, how does that,
I'm afraid to get somebody to do stuff.
yeah, they'll be fine. They'll figure it out. I talked to one of them today. He stopped in and wanted to know if they were coming out, and I told him it'll be in the paper probably this weekend. Once we, how long, if we put it in
If I put it in tomorrow, it'll be next week.
next week, there you go.
Carol, can you email me a copy of it? Thanks.
Okay. Highway,
I spoke with Kevin today. No news on the new truck yet. Still out months. They have no idea. So, good news was the truck that went down last week, they got back together. The tractor, our tractor with the low boy, that's up to Burrs right now, getting a tune-up on it.
Just a tune-up.
Yeah, it's an upper tune-up the tractor's never had it since it was brand new.
Yeah,
All the valves adjusted, the injectors adjusted,
good.
it's just because it's been not running right, so.
Good.
We've been after him about getting it up there, and he finally got it up there, so should be back tomorrow, he's hoping.
Good.
So, the pickup, he got some prices on the pickup, which he gave
yes.
to you, and he wrote down for a code for a new shop truck, so we can get the code guy his truck.
Mhm.
He
So,
found
but it's still out 200 days.
Yeah.
For a new truck.
so it's a 3,500 Dodge 8-foot box.
Yeah.
Price on that is $47,112.10.
You're gonna have a plow and everything for it then?
That'll be separate,
Set for one.
Okay, that's something we'll do once we get it.
correct.
Yeah.
The bid to plow. He said Robert Green, that's who he's talking to. The plow was more expensive going through them than locally here and at Trucks Outfitters already, so. So we do that separate. Yeah. Low boy that we discussed, and he said that's out 10 months now. That we approved. Yeah.
For the code truck, does it make sense?
And are we locked in on a price yet?
Have you guys done the analysis with just paying, the code guy mileage?
He has a leased
Yeah.
vehicle and he doesn't wanna do that.
It seems like that would be cheaper for the town,
Well,
just to pay.
right at the moment, you're right. But when we turn around a year from now, or possibly two, we have to buy a pickup truck anyway.
He's gonna be getting a used one from the shop of 16, I think it is, the Chevy.
I guess
And
the alternative is you could try to sell it,
yeah,
Sell the
sell
other
shop
pickup.
and then just pay mileage.
Yeah. That's not gonna work under this circumstances. As it being a part-time position, he's a retired employee from another company and also drawing Social Security. So you don't wanna turn around and give back for every dollar over,
Got it.
yeah. So he's pretty close to max as that is right now. So that kind of put us in a predicament that way, and it's this or that. Okay,
that's about all with Kevin, other than he had bunch of tree limbs down last night, this morning. So, it's took care of.
so how's that fuel tank doing?
Oh, yeah, the fuel tank is up and running. Everything's great.
The new one?
Yep.
No more leaks
No
and
more
we're all
leaks,
good.
everything's good. The keys, the stuff's all set up for, everybody has their own PIN number to get into it. They program in what vehicle they're putting fuel or gas
No
into.
cards or anything, just a pen.
Correct, yeah, yeah. So that's, up and going already.
Okay, I have on here, I'm leaving it on here, Southwick Road, which we discussed, and the cost and what it was to extend that road. And, I've talked to Kevin and a few of us, and we feel that it's not worth opening that road up for what he's gonna be building up there at the end of that road.
It's gonna be a lot of money.
Yeah. So at this point, I just think that, we won't be doing that, opening that Southwick Road up. Unless something else comes up where, it'll be worth our while to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I was hoping that Kevin would be here. Tioga County Public Health Department has got a grant going on, and there was a lot of things in here that maybe he could be interested in as far as cones and like a radar speed sign that we could actually have maybe installed. There's a capital construction such as new pavement of sidewalk construction. That included the material and installation. I don't know if we want to continue. I know they wanted to do the sidewalk the rest way around. And I don't know if that was something maybe we could find somebody to be interested in putting that together for this grant that the public health has. So put that out there, and have somebody wants to get a hold of me on that. We'll see if we can't pursue something on that. Secondly is Robin was talking, and one of our questions was for the bridge, that we can get progress payments on that.
Oh, good.
Rob had that checked.
From the state? Good.
Yes.
I don't think they want to do repayments for every invoice, but I think maybe every 2 months or something like that.
What's the time of construction on that project?
So I looked back, so there's some paperwork that we're filling out now, so the engineer filled out some DOT paperwork that went to the DOT, and the DOT had comments, but when I was looking through it, I think we're looking at 2024 for construction.
24. You have, how long, is it 2-3 month construction period?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
3 or 4?
Summer.
Okay, so we will want to have draws then.
Okay, one other thing I wanted to bring up is possibly another tire cleanup. Maybe it could be a month early yet to set a date. And Kevin's not here to do that today. So we'll just hold that off for another month. Because we have to go through the highway department to do that.
Yeah.
So if nobody else has any more questions on the highway, we'll move on to the dog.
We got a shelter inspection report. Everything looked good on that. And Denise looks like she was busy last month. 17 dog complaints. Yes.
And she's here to.
She's here.
She's here to explain it.
Oh, yes, because I have 2 items. So one, just so you know, there was definitely an increase in hours and mileage, and the reason for that, just so you are aware, we still do not have a humane officer in Tioga County, so we help the sheriff's department as much as we can when needed. And we had a very difficult situation on Stoll Ave and Candor, and they had gotten tied up a couple of times with other cars and stuff, so they weren't able to respond. We had what was borderline an abandonment case, and so, you know, though the dogs did not end up going to Stray Haven, we worked really hard with a incarcerated individual to try and get him to surrender. I actually worked with Stray Haven and got him a better deal than what the town could even offer, what we had discussed, which was, even the town cost or a portion of it. We had 2 dogs that were in the home, even when they busted out the glass window, they wouldn't leave the property. So they were never technically running at large, so it was a fine line on what dog control laws could do versus abandonment and when his release date was versus how long it'd take it to get it through court and get a seizure order and everything, so it was really difficult. Trying some of my mileage was, tracking down some of his friends since his family was out of state to see if they could assist with the care of the dogs as well and stuff, because the gentleman's a very difficult individual. So that was part of that, just to give you a heads up on that. Probably a couple other things on dog control wise on that side, but I am so focused and agitated on this one item that I am just going to skip to that. Did anyone happen to actually read the new Stray Haven contract in detail?
No,
Okay, I
there
was,
must be a reason why we didn't, right?
well, they slid in a change that I think was very inconsiderate to all of the towns to not bring it to our attention prior to, luckily, I always get a copy of the contract and I was looking through it based on our drop-offs times, and I'll read you the change that I'm sure at some point it's going to come up, and I'll figure it out. But I just wanted to bring it to your attention what was slid into the contracts this year. We have always taken the dogs down to Stray Haven. They've held them 5 days in custody. Has turned over to Stray Haven to figure out and do with it as they see fit. They had increased our fees this year, we knew that. But on top of doing that, they slid in a paragraph that says, at the end of the holding period, dogs will be transferred over to the shelter or returned to dog control based on a behavioral analysis by our kennel staff. Aggressive dogs that are not adoptable will also be turned back over to the municipality under New York State Agama regs. I understand the reasoning for it. I know the background. I know the euthanasia rates are higher now. I know the training and overturn of staff. They've had some significant bites. I think, in my personal opinion, this is a way to try and alleviate some of those situations with that. But then it also puts dog control, I feel, in a situation where they should have been respectful enough to bring it to our attention, instead of all of a sudden we might get that phone call on day 5 going, come pick up this dog. We are not equipped to handle those dogs. Across the board, we should have been given the consideration so that we can think through and have a plan in place for how are we gonna assess what we do with these dogs now? Do we reach out? They've always done the reaching out to rescues, determining at what level, there's different bite level aggressions that they can do and stuff. The dogs, if we end up having some euthanized, who's paying for the disposal? What exactly are we doing with them? How do we meet AGMA and county regs for disposal? Because I have a rescue, I know there's more to that side of it. And I just think it was very inconsiderate to put it into a contract that dogs could be returned back over to us when they never have before.
So you said they stuck that in all towns' contracts and nobody's really picked up on that. So,
Yes,
Have we seen this contract?
yes, we approved it.
and every town approved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not something you did, I just think it was a very inconsiderate way for them to slide in, something that was beneficial to them, that we would have probably agreed to in the end, but without giving us any knowledge of it ahead of time.
So has any other towns contacted them about the contract?
Oh, I'm sure they will be, you're my first one I came to. I happened to find this when I was reading it because of the whole Stowe Lab situation.
So I wonder if we should contact them and talk to them about that. I mean, I don't mind working with them on that deal. I'm sure the board doesn't have a problem with that.
We had this discussion with them before too, because of such as dogs that are picked up alongside the road and stuff, because they have access to the mass cremations and stuff that we don't have access to. Luckily, there is a place in Candor now we could probably work something with, but we've always worked with them because of weird type situations, and they've actually taken some of the dogs down there for cremation and stuff. So just all of a sudden to put in here, boom, you're going to get back. And I mean, it says nothing about, when I was reading the things that I was concerned over, number one, housing when they come back. How many days notice are you giving us to pick them up? Are you going to call and go, by then they're closed today, your hold period's up, I want this dog gone? Are you going to hold it for 48 hours while we get things in place? You know, I think they should have been a better than just that brief of, at the end of the hold period, you get it back.
And do you know what the sort of additional cost might be? Because now you're going to have to,
How about none, because there's none in there.
Yeah, that's why I said it opens all of that up too.
Let's go with that.
well, someone's gotta do that.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's what I mean. So I think there was other things that towns would have to consider should this scenario arise. Hopefully it doesn't, but I could see it. For instance, I mean, when they had the Richford case, that was severe bites and the family just wanted it gone. And at that point, I mean, that was severe enough. So one gentleman, he was in the hospital with an amputation. So whether it was, you know, abandonment or whatever, the scenarios can come up. I know they can, I've seen them. But they have always made that determination. They've euthanized the dogs, they've disposed of the dogs. There's never been no turning it back over to the town.
What would, and what would happen if could they go back on the owner on that? Well, if you've got a dog that's loose and you don't know whose it is, I can see that.
So I mean, the owner ones might be easier, but I mean, we'd still be responsible while we're doing the whole court part of it and stuff. You know, and then if we do have an owner, that's another consideration, and they turn it back over to us, we have the additional housing while you go through court, and they're entitled to a appeal process, so you have the housing doing. So I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios when you turn it back over to our care and stuff that we've never been equipped to set up to. That's why we've always contracted with them now. So.
I like how that works. I wonder if we could contact them and say that, you know, that was missed, and, you know, we don't like that in the contract, and could we redo another one? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I'm not quite, I got to figure out, and I say we need to figure out how, if we have to euthanize a dog, if they do, why should they have to cover all of it?
Right.
Where they have in the past, I take it.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. I fully agree with, you know, that part of it and stuff. I just think they should have been discussed before they just slid in and we signed,
Yeah.
because they knew that was a significant change. I am, that's why I said, well, I'm frustrated. They know the same as I did when I read that. That's a significant change, and not to bring it to anyone's attention.
Did you contact them at all? No? Okay, so as far as you know, nobody has.
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry, maybe you could clarify for me. So obviously they were inconsiderate in not putting this out, but what is the actual impact on you and the town? What would the impact be in terms of time and space and costs?
Depends on the whole scenario. We
Right.
have
So
no
what-
place to put a dog right now,
Yeah.
like that. So it would be the cost of whether, I mean, we went through different scenarios in the past. We had a kennel at the garage before. We had rented a kennel space, I believe, at the one point with the kennel on Dry Brook. I mean,
So that would have been done in the past as well.
excuse me,
That was what you did in the past.
when we weren't contracted with Stray Haven,
When you were,
when we didn't have a
we
contract
did
with
not
Stray
have
Haven.
it, okay.
Right. Ever since we've had a contract with them, they
Yeah.
picked a dog at so-and-so cost, and
Right.
none of us came back. So we don't, of course, we don't have the kennels at the town barn no more. We don't
Yeah,
have a contract with a kennel for spacing anywhere.
Yeah.
We don't have a contract anywhere for euthanasia of a dog or set up even for scenarios like that, or had to do any court cases like that because it's all been done through straight.
You don't have a capability of picking up a dangerous dog either.
Excuse me.
You don't have a capability of picking up a dangerous dog either, do you?
I have the
Do
capability,
you?
but then usually they go down to them because they are trained, they go in a special isolation
But if you had to
kennel.
go pick one up, I mean,
But now you might have to go pick them
Oh, from them, and that's just it, because where I'm at right now, if they call me, what do? Take it to my house and.
that's what I mean, it's just,
That concerns me, so that's why, if they're saying that, you know, they deem that they're aggressive and all of a sudden they just call me and go, here, take this home with you.
So let me ask you a question. If we talk to the euthanasia place down here, make it a contract with them, if we take dogs down to there, what,
do
what,
they euthanize? I
They
think
don't
they-
euthanize,
That's just a
they
crematorium.
dispose.
just cremate,
They
okay.
do a mass.
So we'd have to do that with a vet.
Yep,
Yeah, we'd
so
have to
that's
have
what I mean, so you'd have to have that in place with a vet, and then you'd have to have in place a disposal.
So Denise, I have a question. When they say it's unadoptable and wanna give it back to you, that could be a range of anything from it's just quirky or something to it'll chew your arm off and hand it back to you?
It just says behavioral.
Uh-huh.
So it's not really saying behavioral. I mean, behavioral could be aggressive, behavioral could be extremely skittish, which they had detailed that ahead of time and been more specific on what
Wow.
a behavioral concern is. I mean, you can have one that's scared to death and you can't touch it,
Yeah.
and it just needs an additional time. Is that what they're talking about? I don't know, because that's the exact words in here, is behavioral.
Wow.
So,
Oh, I wonder if we should just ride it out the rest of this year and see what happens, huh?
well, I'm hoping that
It's only March.
they, I hate to say this, but they probably know me the same as you do right now, that should that scenario come up, we are probably going to have a very big disagreement on certain things. I mean, they know I'm also realistic. I pushed in court to have a dog euthanized before I drove the owner with the dog to the vet. I worked out a location on a friend's property, went up, helped them bury the dog. I mean, they know the same as most of the courts, most of the town boards. I will make that happen, but I just think it was very blindsided the way they did it. And I think we could have worked together better
Agreed.
to do something that worked out for everyone than throwing it in here and then maybe blindsiding us in the end.
And what's the period of the contract that you?
1 year,
But starting from,
January to
First.
December.
All right.
But I just hate to get stuck in that moment. See, I think I do have to address it with them, or somebody does, because my biggest concern is I just don't wanna be blindsided getting that phone call that they have a dog such as the one I'm thinking of, and all of a sudden, and that dog actually had, to give you an example, that one was held at Stray Haven for almost 2.5 months while it was going through the court proceedings. And that dog was aggressive enough. I mean, I could even tell you that it was broken. There was no fixing it behavior wise. It was just getting the owner to that place to understand that. And I mean, and in that situation, I mean, not to be graphic, but it had went after a toddler, it had 2 dog kills, it had a cat kill. I mean, it had going after walkers. I mean, it had significant bite issues, and now you're gonna pick up that phone, call me, and you want me to house this dog in my house for 2 months? You know, you're equipped down at Stray Haven with the kennels to safely house that dog with concrete bottoms and 6 foot, and they're not getting out. I have a pop-up 48-inch kennels, because we're intended by Ag Marvex to be an overnight hold.
If the towns group together, the town boards, group together and talk to them, that would work.
That's what I'm
You guys
wondering too.
already approved the
Yeah.
contract, right?
Yeah.
It's done in our organizational meeting.
Well, we'll make some phone calls eventually here and,
Yes, you're tonight, no Valley is next Tuesday, I'll be talking to him, and Berkshire is next Wednesday, so within a week, you all will have my opinion on the contract, and then
well, we'll wait till we get all done and we'll all get together. And you, yeah, that sounds great. All right, well, thanks for that great information.
Yeah, thanks Denise. Good catch. really.
Appreciate what you do though. Thank you. Okay, Curtis, Patty's not here to,
I know, she already bragged about being in a warmer climate.
She doesn't have any spreadsheets. She likes her spreadsheets.
No, that's okay, I'll make sure you guys all get copies of them. February, we had 51 activations, we had 34 calls that were able to produce a bill. We had 4 calls that were dropped via code 2s, meaning we were already out on some sort of activation. We had none of them that were dropped while we were in a mutual aid call, so all of them were while we were already transporting one of our own. Our average response time was 1 minute and 28 seconds.
Wow, that's really good.
That is a Tioga County record. No agency has ever been out the door that quick, so I'm excited.
Nice.
Our average to the person who's calling 911 is right around 6 minutes and a half, 6.5 minutes, which is 15 minutes below national average. So I'm happy with that. Payroll, we are right on the money, 7% of the entire year. Payroll budget was for last month, which was the same as January. I mean, you look at the beautifully colored spreadsheet here that I have. It was a matter of less than $1,000 difference between January and February, so we're right on the money for that. I wish I had more information on the junior program that we're working on. We're still in the process of working on some final details with some foundation and some hospital agreements with that. We have started getting some junior member applications where we're actually getting some junior members from the school to start riding with the ambulance again. So that program is pushing forward and we're excited for that. Because I'm sure you will hear about it, I'm gonna warn you now. One of the things we found in our junior member program is we were looking at some of the station equipment and we found about $50,000 worth of electrical violations.
In your equipment?
In like the main panels
Oh, in your building.
in the building, yes.
Okay.
So I applied for some emergency grant funding and we were able to get all but about $9,000 approved in grant funding to get the necessary electrical repairs done to the building, so it's brought up to code.
Good.
So that was a fun week, to say the least. But there will be some public postings from the different foundations that help support us during that adventure. Each one of them have wanted to come down, take a picture with us, give us a check, and write their own press release, and we'll be posting those.
Sure.
So, but it's getting all fixed. The whole building will be brought up to code. Working with the code enforcement over there. And turns out there's actually no electrical inspection on the building. So we found that out during some entertaining work there. So that'll be all fixed and there won't be any shutdown period. The electrician that's doing the work will actually wire the building to run off the generator for the period of time that the service will be down for the day. So there'll be no interruption in service for that day.
Good.
So, trying to think what else we have here. As far as the rest of the budget and stuff like that, I know Nancy, you showed up to the meeting there. We're looking really good on everything other than the fuel budget.
I
Which
bet.
I'm sure you guys are in the same boat as that one, so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're plugging right along and, we're encouraging anybody that's got questions or things like that to send me a message or get a hold of me or something so we can sit down and talk. I'm working on another program to bring in an auxiliary at the squad where we can have people who don't want to run on ambulances, but still want to try and help the community with whatever it might be down there. We will be hosting our Mother's Day chicken barbecue again, so tickets are coming out for that. And we are also at the same time doing another raffle, which is going to help us finish paying off our heart monitors. So in partnership with Tioga Downs, we got a weekend trip as a grand prize and some other prizes, and we'll be selling some tickets for that to basically pay off the heart monitors that we purchased last year to cover that fund. But everything's looking good. Billing is right on the money. We're up about 28% on our billing from when we were previously doing it in-house to using a billing agency, so we're up. Billing is doing well.
Also, I see you got some COVID-19 tests that are good till July now. Because they called me about them, which we've had some for the end of this month. They run out. Actually, we took some to the dollar store, the gas stations in the area, and Power and Paddle, and we're almost out here now. But Bill asked me if we wanted some more, and I said, "Geez, we don't have a lot of people coming in here," and it was hard to get rid of 2 cases of those. So
Yes, and if you know anybody that needs them, please send them.
yes, want to let them know that. The EMS has COVID-19 tests, and I think they run out at the end of July. Are they?
I think they're either July or August, but.
Yeah. And if they say end of July, I'm sure they're good for another month or 2. So
I'm sure they are, you know.
I wonder if you could put them in the post office. There's probably a lot against
I
them.
doubt it.
Because
Yeah.
people walk in
There or
there so
banks.
much more. Or maybe ask the bank if you could put
I
them in
don't think you
there.
can.
People go
They
in
even
the bank.
stopped selling, of course they're selling them. They were doing a quilting raffle in there, and they wouldn't allow them to do that anymore. But I just wanted to make sure that got out in the paper that if anybody needs a free COVID-19 test, that they can go to the EMS. And
Yep.
they
We're working on a couple other community health stuff. We're talking about a blood pressure clinic. Some other things that we're just brainstorming over there with the new crew that I'm working with and everything. So a lot of fun and exciting stuff.
Excellent. All righty.
Thank you.
Planning board. Don't know if we have anything going on with the planning board.
Well, just their Board of Appeals law that they gave us,
Oh, okay.
I wanted to discuss.
Board of Appeals, yeah, I haven't heard anything on that.
And there's we gave them this because we wanted them to change a section.
Thanks, Curtis.
You're welcome. We're gonna go have dinner now.
Yeah. We wanted them to change the section, and it has to do with their powers and authority. And they have several, the wording in here is, they refer to 267, but what they put in here is only part of 267, and they kind of added things like being able to reverse decisions of code enforcement officers, things like that. I want to have it changed to what just 267 says.
Just keep it.
We'll just keep it simple. And we actually, Palmer and I wanted to add a little more something to this to clarify what they can do. How do you think we should word something like that? Is that?
Yeah, I think we could come up with a sentence or 2 just to clarify what their review purpose is.
There's a whole another process with the state and stuff to, reverse code enforcement officers' decisions. So I think it's something that we do want to take out of there.
Okay, so that means that you and Palmer and Ed are gonna get together and kind of
Well, I
straighten
think
this
Palmer
out.
and I will get together and we'll revise it, and then we'll give it to Ed, and then have him included in this. And then it'll come back to the board for our approval.
Okay.
That sounds good.
So you have a copy of this and stuff, and if there's anything else that you.
Probably send you an email tomorrow.
Yeah, just send me an email.
Clarify what you're exactly thinking.
Yeah.
Just send it to
Yeah, that's all
at
we
the
need.
bottom, yeah.
Okay. That's all I have on the planning board.
And that means we probably don't have anything for Board of Appeals.
No,
Didn't Norma send us their yearly calendar for,
she did.
yes, okay, yeah.
It's the third Thursday, right?
I have it in the office.
I think it's the third Thursday. I think.
All right.
Can't recall. Do you want me to go get it?
No.
It's different depending on what meeting it is
Not that
too, like,
important.
don't they have different kinds of meetings, like,
Yes,
They have a workshop.
I mean, can you send me a copy of that schedule so I can put on the calendar?
yeah, we
I
should.
I think if they don't have anything going on, they turn it into a workshop. So,
Yeah,
but I think it's the same time.
the only reason why I say that is because I remember when I was doing the calendar, I had to be careful whether to call it a working meeting or this meeting or that meeting, and the automation thing wasn't cooperating, so I remember it making me angry at the computer. Which doesn't happen that often, but.
Okay. Old business, I think a lot of old business we had slid in the, under the committees, and I couldn't think of anything else we had in there. So we'll move on to new business. Is to approve Kathy Malloy as a deputy bookkeeper to Jean. Lynette was there and she decided that she wasn't going to have time to do that. So Jean got a hold of Kathy and she'll be doing it at I think it's minimum wage. So we need to
do something.
make a motion to approve.
What about getting Lynette?
Lynette will send us well, geez, maybe we gotta do that. We have to do
Have to do that first.
Do what?
we gotta get a resignation from Lynette first. Yes.
Well, you can have a couple of deputy bookkeepers. We can get that later.
Yep,
Yeah.
that works.
Yeah, I move we approve Kathy Malloy as the deputy bookkeeper.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? No. And by doing that, we want to do the same thing for our code officer. To have Jim actually train Paul, which he has been doing.
Yeah.
And also put him down as the deputy code officer. And then, once again, we'll get Mike Cashmere to send me a resignation for that. We'll do the same thing.
So you would fill in for Paul if he wasn't around, or?
Yeah, I'll have to get
Right.
recertified
So-
and stuff, but yeah.
Right. That shouldn't be a problem.
And Jim's pay will be at $20 an hour.
Any benefits there?
Already got him.
Just checking. I'm trying to slide something in on us. All right, I'll make the
You
motion.
get your own
to
special badge for that?
approve Jim
I never
as,
knew where my other badge
code
was.
officer, deputy,
Jim made the motion.
to approve Jim as being the deputy code officer.
Seconded.
There you go. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Opposed? None. Okay, and that's all I have on the agenda. We're back to privilege of the floor. Anything want to address anything? Oh, hold it. There is. On that Dodge pickup truck, that Kevin found there for 47,112.10. I'd like to have a approval for him to get that truck when it comes available. If we wait, it may get gone and somebody else will get it and we won't have an opportunity to have one.
Right. So just need a motion.
Motion to approve the
Purchase of.
purchase of the I think it's a 2022.
22, I believe you said.
I move we purchase the 2022 Dodge pickup. At what was the price?
$47,112
$47,112
and 10 cents.
and 10 cents.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Yeah.
Douglas,
Aye.
Strozel,
Aye.
Brixey,
I,
Vader,
Aye.
There.
Glad you remembered that.
Yeah, I wrote it on my note here because I said, geez, we should have done that
yeah, and then he'll bid out the plow and
later on.
sander later on.
Yeah.
After we receive it.
Did we have to go back to say anything about the Homer Hill Road? It's,
Yeah, did we want to approve that this time?
Well,
The opening
yes,
of that
because
road?
you-
wasn't approved.
Yeah, I think we should.
Apparently.
Yes.
We thought we did last time, but I think we got off track.
Like we almost just did again.
Yeah,
Thank you, Nancy, for reminding me on that.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, so we're gonna open Elmer Hill Road to make it a 12-month maintained roadway.
Not the whole road.
not to
No.
exceed 1,000 feet.
I think it's, 1,000 feet, 700 to 1,000 feet.
Just say not to exceed 1,000 feet.
Somebody wanna make a motion to do that?
I'll move that we open Elmer Hill Road not to exceed 1,000 feet on the upper side. I guess that's all.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None.
I
There,
have a question. If you have to do all that discussing and voting for that one, why don't you have to do that with Southwick? I'm just curious, because I'm a,
we did do a lot of discussion on Southwick and it's a half a
no,
mile.
I understand, but do you have to make a motion and vote that you decline to pursue that at this time? That's what I'm asking.
Well, honestly, I'm just gonna let it ride for a little bit because let's just say he comes up with another scenario.
And I do remember from the discussion when he was here that he said there was some other resident that was thinking about doing something.
Yep.
So I'm
We'll just let it ride for a little bit and see what
Yeah,
happens.
I'm a procedure junkie. I
Yeah.
like things to be in order, and it just seems a little out of order. But I guess that if it was a problem, that he would have been poking you and telling you to make a motion. I don't know.
No. Yeah, we're good on that. I don't think we have any reason to go into executive session. So, nobody else? Rob, you didn't have any more, right? All righty.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for attending our meeting.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, but because my daughter's been out